Hi, my name is Mike Lawrence. This video is one of a set which is intended to provide a different interpretation of the experimental results that constitute the foundation of current physics. It is clear that the present explanation for what we see in the universe is good in many ways, but it is missing an overall coherence. My view is that we need to look at physics with new eyes and consider an interpretation that explains most things well, even if it does question just about everything. I do not disagree with any experimental results, only the interpretation of those results. And I do not say that the hypothesis that I'll be talking about in these videos is the theory of everything, and that everything I suggest is correct, but it is a start. Each video in the set will cover an aspect of physics. The whole set needs to be understood together in combination, because many aspects rely on each other, and any one taken on its own may not be convincing to those relying on the current interpretations, some of whom may actually be offended by the hypothesis. There will be links in the videos to other videos in the set that cover closely related or overlapping aspects. Within the boxes in the videos are representations of the motions of the particles and their composites, which I will be explaining more fully. I'm happy to answer questions where I can, perhaps providing links to where a deeper mathematical analysis shows why I say what I do, since equations and graphs do not make good videos, and will post replies where appropriate on Twitter. I hope you enjoy the videos and they enable you to better appreciate the absolute symmetry and simplicity of nature. But please remember, I'm not an experienced presenter, and although I state everything as if it were correct, this is only a hypothesis. This is video number 21, Energy, Force and Inertia. Currently, energy and inertia are nebulous qualities, with the former considered scalar and the latter vector properties. Actually, both are vector properties, but to understand why requires looking at the most basic dynamic equations in a new light. When considering the gravitational orbital motion of one body around another stationary, infinitely large body, it is customary to include, apart from the potential energy between the bodies, only the mass kinetic energy of the orbiting bodies. But all bodies are composed of loops, and all loops have spin energies that are exactly equal in size to their mass energies, if of opposite side. However, when in a rotating system, the kinetic energy component of the spin energy acts outwards in exactly the same sense as the kinetic energy component of the mass energy. So although we can only directly measure the mass energy component, both are present, and the result is that, in a stable orbit, instead of the potential energy mm/r being equated to a half mv squared, it is instead twice that at mv squared. Now it is possible to see that the forces present have exactly the same structure, other than the extra radius factor, as the new double kinetic energy form. This means that energy and force can be equated exactly, other than the distance factor. And further, that since the force equation, when the two bodies are in a stable orbit, takes the same form, the new energy equation defines zero total energy as a stable orbit. Thus, a stable orbit is when the motional energies of the orbiting body and the potential energy between the two bodies total zero, or as appropriately for mutually orbiting systems. The same is the case for relativistic quantum energy level equations, in that the kinetic energies should be mv squared times the function of the quantum numbers, not a half mv squared times the function of the quantum numbers. Since force is a vector, then so too must be energy. It is necessary only to understand the direction of the force to find the direction of the energy. The simplest case is to consider what inertia is. A body in motion in a frame of reference has inertia. The need to provide a force to stop it moving is what is currently considered to represent the inertia of the body, or alternatively the amount of resistance to it being moved from rest. That is because the moving body has both an energy and a force already within it. It was propelled from rest by a force and given energy, and it retains both, ignoring any viscosity. The question of what force it has, or retains after motion through the background, depends on how far away from the body an observation is made. But the energy that the body has is a constant vector, other than viscosity effects, along the line originally impressed. And consequently, there is no centripetal acceleration acting on an orbiting particle. Curved motion does not involve acceleration, and inward pointing motion of forces. Curved motion is centrifugal in type. The muon components of all composite loops are always in motion, except when an appropriate rotational frame of reference. A rock that can be considered to be stationary in the frame of reference of a stationary universe is actually still in motion internally. The viscosity of the background, in sapping energy from all motion within it, leads to an arrow of time, the second law of thermodynamics, and the relativistic framework. Where the background is absent, the quantum framework exists. Related videos will be 22, Newton's choices, and 23, bicycle stability. Thank you for watching.